Yeah, the Cowboys are better off trading Parsons, and it has nothing to do with Parsons' ability. It has everything to do with how Jerry Jones has built the team. And a part of the issue that he's run into. My mantra for the Dallas Cowboys is a day late and a dollar more. By paying players later as opposed to doing what Joe said, which is paying guys earlier, the Cowboys have put themselves in a position where they have a top-heavy roster and they have a lot of holes. You look at the offensive line, huge question marks up front. They got to replace Zach Martin, and then, oh, by the way, their starting left tackle, former first-round pick, has been out the majority of the preseason. We don't know who's running the football for the Dallas Cowboys, and at every level of their defense, there's a hole. So I don't know how the Dallas Cowboys pay Micah Parsons and fix all of it. I think this is a situation now where they need to go in the Wayback Machine and go with the Great Trade Robbery Part 2, the Herschel Walker deal that kicked off the 90s Cowboys dynasty, where the Cowboys moved on from the one great player they had and got a bunch of good players. They ended up getting Pro Bowl defensive tackle Russell Maryland. They ended up getting defensive back Kevin Smith. They ended up getting all-pro safety Darren Woodson. And oh, by the way, we got Hall of Fame running back Emmitt Smith, the all-time leading rusher. So moving on from a great player or an elite player at a premium position is not the death knell for a franchise. Quite the contrary, it could be the catalyst for the Dallas Cowboys to get to a point where they could actually have sustained success.
Would Jerry be able to fleece another team, though?
And I think. Well, listen. I think Jerry, whether he wants to admit it or not, is thinking along those lines. Because again, if Micah's going to be resolute, it's not just about the pride. It's also about the practicality of the money that he spent on others. Dak Prescott is a $60 million a year quarterback with 2 playoff victories in his career, approaching his 10th season. You need 3 playoff wins in 1 year to win a Super Bowl, if not get to a Super Bowl. He started as a wild card spot. The brother got 2 in 9. 2 victories in 9 years, but somehow you made him the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. And then you're looking at Jerry and he's thinking about the fact that I paid him and then he got hurt. You're thinking about the fact before I paid him last time he had got hurt again. You're thinking about the 4 games that Micah missed last year. These are all excuses that he can lean on. Here's the point. If Micah's big time, if somebody calls Jerry and they said, look, man, two Pro Bowlers and 2 first-round picks, give us Micah Parsons, are we sure that he will push away from that? I don't think we're sure because, again, if you've got Dak with a CeeDee Lamb, both of whom you've paid, now you got George Pickens, who's coming up, and by the way, is represented by David Mulugeta, believe it or not. So think about that for a second.
This guy represent everybody?
Yeah. The guy's big time. He's got his clientele, no doubt about it. If you've got all of that going on, who's to say you might not do something like that if you are Jerry Jones? Think about it.
I hate the idea of running a professional football team with the mindset of drafting players, developing them into great players, and then can't figure out how to make it work, so we're going to trade him for more guys. Like, you make a good point. The way they've paid the rest of the roster, getting rid of him and then using those resources elsewhere to bolster the team, yeah, I could see how that could work. But does this actually solve any problem? Would trading Micah Parsons solve any problem? The problem here is the owner's approach to negotiating with star talent. It's been a problem each year. Not necessarily in the discussions, which here it's a discussional problem, but last year it was a timing issue. Much like it is now. You wait too long. So you can trade Micah and you can get draft picks and other players. Wonderful. Then what happens when the next big player is up for a contract? Are we going to trade him because we waited too long to get the deal done and it costs too much? It's just bad business to nail a draft pick like Micah Parsons and then get rid of him, not because he's unproductive or a clubhouse problem. He very much produces and he's liked. You just can't make it work. Like, that's the issue they need to solve. It's not the whether or not he fits. It's the way in which you handle this business. How do you plan to compete with anybody getting rid of star talent?
You're absolutely right. But the flip side is this. Okay, you're Jerry Jones. Everybody believes that, but you're Jerry Jones, and it's now become a bit personal. And if it's become a bit personal, you've made it personal with Micah Parsons, no doubt, because look at how he's receiving what's transpiring. So we've gone from a guy that's an all-world player who wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy, he wanted to be signed early, who was willing to get paid less, to a dude that's basically saying, I don't want no parts of being here. Now, could that change? Of course it could change. But What if it doesn't? What if he's sitting up there going like this, man, I don't like you, I don't want to be around you, I don't want to be around here anymore? Then if you're Jerry Jones, you might have to think differently in that regard.
Well, we're discussing whether it makes sense, but Micah Parsons again made a statement yesterday. His Twitter profile and Instagram, everything's been changed. It says no reference to the Cowboys, and it says Penn State 2021, future to be determined. So this situation is getting a little crazy. We got to leave it there, guys. Wonderful.
Great to have you, as always. First of all, we love to have you here. But let's get a quick preview. We played some of the conversation, your sit down with Jerry Jones. We played it a little bit earlier on the show. I know you'll play it expansively on First Take, and then you can see the whole thing on YouTube. But give us a little preview of what we have to say this morning about Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons and the way this thing has now turned.
Well, listen, I think that Bard, I saw you earlier going off the way that you did, and I thought it was completely justified on this part, because if you're listening to it, you're going to take it that way. When you're sitting there interviewing him, listen, the man is approaching 83 years of age. He's a billionaire. He's accustomed to doing things his way and not bending at all. And that's exactly the impression that you got, because, again, he sat down with me for over an hour. And so there's a lot of questions that I'm asking, like, Jerry, this is a 25-year-old. You're worth $12.8 billion as a company. You yourself, according to Forbes, is worth about $16 billion. You've got to know that sitting across from a 25-year-old trying to act like that as a negotiation is wrong. And then he said some things that he hadn't told us before, like Micah called him, he didn't call. And he thought they had a deal, and then it was Micah that told him not to call him again after calling him and talking to him. Then Micah gets on the phone and says, don't call me no more. Call my agent, et cetera, et cetera. So he gives some of those details, but in the end, he's resolute in his position. And his attitude is, I got him under contract for 3 years. Yeah. He ain't going nowhere. I got him this year, I can franchise him next year, and I can franchise him the year after that. I got him for the next 3 years. Unless he's willing to sit out, what's he gonna do? Now that is obviously something that would irritate a lot of people listening to that. Sure. But it doesn't negate the fact that it is a fact that he does have that kind of leverage.
Does he appreciate that it also hurts his team? Because by franchise tagging, the cap number will be worse. So like he's taking his position.
Brought that up too.
Yeah, he's taking. And so his pushback is that. Is his pushback that his personal pride is more important than building the best team?
We've been asking him that question, and I brought up Dak. And this is what he said. And listen, I don't want to give away the whole interview, but he was like this. He said, we tried to work out something with Dak before. It didn't work. He played. We tried it again the next year. It didn't work out. He played. So in other words, he gave the indication, get on the field, then come talk to me. And so it seems to be that kind of standoff. All of us imagine that in the end, Michael will get his money, he'll end up in a Dallas Cowboy uniform, et cetera, et cetera.
Do you still expect that?
I do, because I asked him. I said to him, are you willing to trade him? You want him to go? He said, he's a Dallas Cowboy, and I got him for 3 more years. Unless he's willing to sit out for 3 years, what's he going to do?
He can do some other things, but really what everybody wants to know is, who's the mama and who's the daddy?
What was the deal?
Who is the kid?
Well, listen.
We have to tune in to find that out.
Well, listen, yes, that's true, but I found myself asking that damn question myself. So I'm just looking at him, and again, listen, you're old school, you're a billionaire,
yeah.
You're addicted to your ways, and this isn't the first, and he's given every indication that it ain't gonna be the last. There's a certain way of